share with us the job of an older person. Tell us what the job of an older person is.
I like to think that the job of an older person is to address the basic quality of life issues for folks. We deal with health, we deal with police, fire, street lights, potholes in the street, that kind of road construction, that kind of thing. All of the basic daily things that citizens have to deal with, that's what aldermen deal with. When I talk to young children, I describe it as, the 3 levels of government? We are the legislative branch at the city level. Many areas of my district are food deserts as far as access to healthy food. And there was a full service grocery store that was promised by a business person in the area of my district called the Brownsville district. All of a sudden, they start seeing Dollar Tree signs go up for this big box retailer and not the grocery store that they were promised. Residents made me aware, and I fought along with them against a big box retailer coming through. And we went through, committee meetings. We had community meetings with the developer, the owner, and protests outside, protests on social media, and the whole bit. And ultimately, we were able to, that Dollar Tree had a countdown to opening, had things on the shelves, had hired a staff, and everybody just knew they were just going to open. But through the resistance from residents and assistance of our office, we were able to shut that down. And now on that same corner is a Pete's Fruit Market, a small full service grocery store with tremendous access to fresh fruits and vegetables. And it's been there a few years now, and it's successful. But that's just an example of the collaborative work with residents and elected officials to get what the residents were demanding and what they deserve.
Let's talk a little bit about how government's responsibility in regards to providing the resources the community needs, and also as in talking to public safety, the police department needs. Is what can you share from local and state level that type of support to invest in resources that integrate the visibility and inclusion of community?
Here at the City of Milwaukee, we have something called the Office of Wellness, which used to be called the Office of Violence Prevention. It was designed to address gun violence in particular, but all violence, especially in public safety issues. They work with, but not for, the police, as well as, more importantly, the community. And they are those non-uniformed folks that are out there in the community every single day, helping to diffuse situations before they occur on the block by block level and at major events. We have consistently supported those financially and through ARPA and other funds through the years that we've gotten as grants from the federal government. We've had the ability to give them even more, an infusion of more money, because the previous administration made huge investments into the prevention piece of gun violence, and we were recipients of some of that money, and our Office of Wellness benefited from that. Having said that, though, compared to what we invest in police are more than 46% of our budget. So the Office of Wellness is, I'm sure, less than 3%. So even with the investments we've made through the years, it's not parallel to policing. And if we're talking about preventing stuff before it even happens, and keeping people safe, I think we have to look to how to create more investment into the tools we have for prevention. You also mentioned the non-police stuff, right? Because we know that so many other things influence community and safety and all of that. It's not just about police. I think that here in Milwaukee, as well as across the country, there has to be a greater effort at recognizing all of those things that do impact the housing, economic development, jobs, all of those things that influence people's access to medical care, all of those things that do influence our safety, security, and well-being, and figuring out ways to make sure investments continue in those. If you look at the federal level, some of the major bills that have just passed, they cut all of those things. So it will be interesting to see years to come what the impact of it really is on all of our quality of life.
You mentioned a couple of areas that come to mind: the social determinants of health, education, economic development, community environment. Is there any particular area that's needed more than others? Knowing that these are all priorities, if I had a magic wand, which would be the area that you would like to have more resources on to be able to, because it touches so many different areas.
It'd be difficult for me to pick any one, but I always say to slay the giant, it takes somebody to punch him in the face, somebody to hit him in the gut, and somebody to kick him in the shin. Who knows which blow will be the one that make him fall, but you need all three to occur. But even having said that, in a basic way, I would say the health piece, just because if you're not healthy, then what difference does a job make? What difference does a house make if you're not living long enough to take advantage of it? So I would say that. When they cast their votes, they're hoping for a better quality of life. They're hoping for more money to come into their household. They're hoping for safer neighborhoods. They're hoping for government to see them and see the things in their life that need to be improved, and finding ways to find resources to help do that. And for programs that were good, that were benefiting their lives, the continuation of those, and greater support for the things that maybe had not been supported as much, but that do have an impact on their lives. As I heard from constituents, that's the kind of thing that I heard. From most of those same constituents, what I hear now is their disappointment. Their disappointment with what has happened since the 24 elections, and the lack of conversation around an actual, I guess I would say, studied approach to what's being cut and how it's being cut, and the true impact it's having on their lives and the lives of their neighbors.
Tell us about who and what inspired you to lead the work that you lead as an older person.
Wow. I come from a family of 6 generations who have served in public office. So I've grown up my entire life around family members who have been in politics. But more so than that, there is not a family member I can think of who is not of service to community. So in our family, one of the things, even if you're not a politician, you're a teacher, you're a police officer, you're a social worker, that kind of thing. So in our family, service and our connection to community and working to help make things better, it's just something that's ingrained from childhood. But figuring out my way to be of service took some time and some experiences. I interned with elected officials. I held office in school, and I went to law school. And actually, it was law school for me that after my first semester, dealing with all the legal cases and reading so much, I felt I could make a greater impact for my community, helping to write the laws, than arguing about their interpretation in the courtroom. So I knew then that I would probably go into legislative politics. And that's how I kind of ended up here. But the service is just embedded in my family that you're supposed to help to make the community better. There's a lot of people who see what's wrong with society, with the world, with government. But being able to do something about it, working to do something about it, is far fewer people who get up off the couch and actually get into the fray to figure out how to make something happen. And in our families, if you're going to complain about it, you got to do something about it. And I like to think that that's what I'm doing.